you looking for an internet talk radio station for your podcast? Look no further. At the helm of Passionate World Talk Radio are two women that want to provide a spot for you and your podcast to be heard. There are many other places for your podcast, but PWTR has the audience. You will not be disappointed. Our station has been on the internet for the past 16 years. Call us for more information. 484-364-1032 or text Jeannie White, station manager at PHECONNECTSHOW for podcast show details. Welcome to Passionate World Talk Radio. Educate, enlighten, entertain.
Hi, everybody. This is Betsy Wurzel, your host of Chatting with Betsy on Passionate World Talk Radio, where we educate, enlighten, and entertain. The views of the guests may not represent those of the host of the station. Folks, you want to listen to this podcast? I have one of my favorite people on today. She was my first mentor in Dementiaville. She has helped me. She has inspired me. My guest is Marcia Burr, who is on the board of Elder Options down in Florida. She is a Tai Chi Instructor, and she's going to give an update. And I just love Marcia, and I want to welcome Marcia Burr to Chatting with Betsy. Hi, Marcia.
Hey, Betsy, how you doing today?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm excellent. It's been a beautiful day in Florida. I worked outside some today on the farm, and I'm home now, and I've been really, really, really busy since the start of the year. Actually, it started at the end of last year. I have a friend I've known a long time. I met her about 12 years ago, and she owns a farm down, actually it's a ranch down the road from me called the Flying Pig Ranch. And it was named that because everybody said to her, oh yeah, you'll have a ranch when pigs fly. And so she has a 100-acre ranch, and she's very much into a lot of the same things I'm into. And I don't talk to her that often, but, you know, we're friends. And so I was actually talking with another care partner friend of mine named Tanya, who does amazing work with caregivers, helping them deal with the emotions of caregiving.
Yes, I interviewed Tanya a while back.
Yes, I love her. She's great. Anyway,
yes,
I was talking with Tanya, and we were like, you know, we need to plan a retreat. And so I'm like all playing with this thought in my head, like a kid pretending about it and imagining like, oh, it's cool to be out on the beach, you know, at night and have a fire and like, golly, the waves and the wind during the day and doing Tai Chi outside and connecting and teaching people things, you know. So I was really all into this thing, and I started looking around for places, and then I stopped suddenly. I went, wait, really, a retreat? We should be out in the woods. And that made me think of my friend who has the Flying Pig Ranch. Well, so we put that thought on hold, and lo and behold, the very next day, my friend Heidi, who owns the Flying Pig Ranch, calls me. I haven't talked to her in about a year. And she's like, hey, do you want to go to this retreat with me to hear, well, I think it was going to be Greg Braden. And I didn't even really know who he was, so I looked him up, and I thought, okay, he's kind of cool, kind of out there, but, you know, cool. And, like, I'm like, why would I say no to a paid-for vacation? It was like this weekend-long workshop at a really nice Jacksonville beach place. It was paid for. The room was paid for. The workshop was paid for. And I'm like, oh, yeah, man, why would I ever say no to that? And she's like, yeah, my other friends flaked out on me, and I was trying to think of anybody else I knew who was into science and quantum physics and energy work and stuff like that, and I thought of you. I'm like, well, thank you. I really appreciate that, because honestly, the way I live is very simple. I don't make a lot of money right now. But I live a very nice life. I live the way I want to live. I do what I want to do when I want to do it and how I want to do it for people I want to do it for. So I'm not complaining one bit. I just live a very simple, modest life at this moment in time. And I said, so thank you. I really couldn't do this if, you hadn't paid for it. I said, but I'm good. I live a good life, and I don't really care that much about money, is what I said. And she looked at me, and she called me out on that. And she goes, you shouldn't say that, Marcia. She goes, money can do really good stuff. And you have so many creative ideas, and you've been through so many experiences in life that you should reconsider that statement and start to have a loving relationship about money and how you live. And it really shifted me. It didn't, turn me around and go, oh, I'm going to go be greedy now. I'm going to go work 80 hours a week, because none of that interests me. But the thought of what I could do with more money was so appealing to me that I was on fire. I was like, yeah, this is, it was like one of those magic breadcrumb things that fell into my lap that actually I brought it to me because had been playing in my head so fervently and passionately about having a vacation that, poof, here comes this vacation out of the clear blue, and it's led me on this most amazing journey here 5 years out from dementia caregiving, excuse me, where I feel like I'm finally rested and healed, and I'm strong, and my energy is growing strong again. And I'm like, I don't want to go work on farms my whole life. I love what I do. I love being outside in church every day. I see the most amazing things, and I get to take the most amazing photographs. I love it. But let's face it, I've actually, in retrospect, in a way, I've been rather selfish these past few years, and I needed to be, because I was healing, and it took me that long. But now I'm like, I'm ready to go and give back some of this stuff that I learned in life. And so I decided to go back to school and really focus on being a Tai Chi coach. And I work with a master trainer once a week. And my friend Heidi also happens to own a yoga studio down the road from me in Bronson. And so I'm going to start teaching Tai Chi classes out at her place. And she also has a big dream about building a community of like-minded people who are into doing good work and expressing themselves creatively and making good things happening and kind of living off the land, because she has a ranch, grows her own food. She's off the grid, she runs on solar. And I'm all about all of that stuff, because we're really using up the earth like, it's disposable. And, hey, guess what? It's our only home, all of us, on this little tiny pale blue dot. It's the only place we have to live. So I'm all about that, too, and it actually coincides very well with a lot of the ideas and visions I've had over the years about the Life Raft. And I haven't really pushed the Life Raft real hard out there every day. I mean, let's face it, I was healing. COVID came along. We had to, they tore down City Hall where I was having meetings for a year while they rebuilt it. And then COVID hit. And then I went through some stuff with City Hall that now they want me to pay them $750 to use the room. And I'm like, I'll get back to you on that one. And so then I found a local church and a guy who actually works with elder options, too.
Wow,
but, hey,
$750 a month?
What's that?
That's a lot of that $750 a month.
Crazy.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah,
that's outrageous.
I'm like, okay, I'm not playing that game. You know, a lot of things are changing where I live right now. I've lived where I live for the past almost 30 years, and across the street from my house has always been 33 acres of old Florida woods, oak trees, Spanish moss. I've seen deer in there, coyote, bunny rabbit, owls. I mean, you know, it was nature. It was wild, and they've torn it all down. They're going to put, I can't believe it either. They're going to put 100 houses on 33 acres across the street.
I believe it. Sounds like New Jersey, where they could squeeze a house, they do.
I don't have the energy to be mad about that either because, you know, it's happening. So, you know, it is what it is. So I decided, well, I'm going to have really good neighbors move in. That's what I think about. And so all of these things are really unfolding for me this year because of this shift I had from my friend Heidi last year. And I've hit a place now. I'm back in school doing some really intensive coaching for life mastery. And I'm working with, like, the masters of the masters that learned from masters. And it's expensive. It's, you know, I'm back like in, you know, getting a PhD, although that's not what it's going to be called. It's a different kind of school. But it's all about the work that I love. It's all about energy work, which is what Tai Chi is about. That's what Chi is, baby, the energy. And that's what we are as human beings. We're not, you know, we've gotten fooled for so long that, you know, we think we're our bodies. And we're not. We're energy. This has been scientifically proven over and over and over and over. And we just forgot. And I find that so pertinent and apropos to the whole arena of dementia care partnering, because isn't that what's happening?
Yeah.
It's not just forgetting, you know, it's forgetting everything. It's like the universe is saying, hey, guess what, you guys? Did you forget something really important? You know, you're not really your bodies. All of us are going to die anyway. And if, you know, here's the thing. Energy, call it God if you want. Call it whatever you want. I don't care. But energy is neither created nor destroyed. This has been proven. So it just is. Well, the thing is, when you just are, you just are. You're not thinking, feeling, tasting, hearing, seeing, smelling, feeling, being. You just are. So here we are in these bodies, and this is how evolution works, is that nature's always trying to find a way. We're always evolving. Life always finds a way. It's ever expanding. And when things don't work, well, they go extinct. Like, nope, that's not good. We're doing this. And it seems like our planet has its own kind of intelligence, its own kind of body. I mean, the Amazon, all the trees are the lungs of our planet. The oceans are a circulation system. You know, so it's all this energy stuff. And we somehow have this grand amnesia that we're our bodies. And it's like, guess what? We're all going to lose our bodies. It's just matter to going back into energy form again and being recycled. That's how life works. And so all of this is so pertinent for care partners who are getting lost every day. And I read stories every day. I talk to people every day. And I especially notice, Betsy, you probably do too, so many people on the other side of it, now their loved ones have lost. I mean, you know, Matt's gone, Gaydon is not here in physical form. And they don't know what to do anymore because it's like a piece of them died. They lost their own identity in the whole process. And isn't that kind of ironic, too, since we're talking about dementia and losing our memory? Well, so you know how I got through all of it? And I mean, I was lambasted for it a lot, you know. It was my happy place, man. I just decided, look, we're all going to die. I'm sick and tired of sitting around waiting to die. I'm missing all the living. Let's just go play like kids again in our minds. It doesn't mean we have to act like immature children doing stupid things. It means we recapture our joy. Remember those things you used to do, like when you were 3 years old, that were just so fun, or 5, 7, little kids? We'd go play all day, imagining things, building dreams in our minds, and it's like we lived there. It was real to us. And the next thing you know, Mom's calling us for dinner, and the whole day went by, and we were in joy. We were in the moment, in the present. And as we get older, we lose that ability. We get so grounded in this, you know, three-dimensional world of finite, constricted things that we lose our energy flow. And for caregivers and people with dementia, flow is so important. I mean, even let's just take one form of dementia alone, vascular. Now, what is that about? Is it not about circulation? Blood flow?
Mm-hmm.
And so we're in the middle of a time period, this amazing paradigm shift where the whole world was basically dry docked for a couple of years while we are, you know, are going through COVID, and it's still evolving, and it's not going to go away. It's just changing like everything else does on this planet, and life goes on. So I figure it like this, Betsy. If really what I am is energy with this amazing human body and this mind that can create and do these amazing things, but I'm really energy that is neither created nor destroyed, then I figure I'm going to be around forever after. So why not make it a happy forever after right now? Let's all go learn how to be children again, in the sense that we know how to feel joy and imagine it and call it to our present. That right there is what got Gaydon and I through the journey of dementia, is that we decided we were just going to go be accepting children and find all the little treasures in the moment of right now. And that is, you know, some people call that mindfulness. A lot of people think maybe, oh, this is all hokey pokey. And it isn't. It's science. It's all been reiterated time and time again. More science comes out about this stuff every day, all evidence-based. And so that's where I'm at. I've decided I've healed. I have all these things that I've been through, experiences. Every experience I've been through in my life has led me up to this present moment. And I have all of these amazing pieces, little gems, golden nuggets. So I'm putting them all together now. And you were around back before, you know, in the original bunch, the original crew, Betsy, when I was talking about building life.
That's right. Yeah.
And that's what I'm going to do. And it's, you know where it starts? Where I had a vision in 2015. I saw the whole thing happening at the end, and I'm like, well, I got to go to the beginning. Until I fiddled around with a lot of that stuff, and I forgot that, wait, the way we really build things is by our frequency and our energy and having vibrational matches and harmony. That's how we create things. So I had to spend a few years just being grateful, being in the moment, learning discipline about noticing what I'm noticing. People walk around like these little lemmings and zombies And they're not even noticing what they're noticing. They're not even aware what their thoughts are. And the truth is, thoughts are energy. And energy is what makes matter. And so our thoughts become things. And so rather than sitting around grousing about war around the world and poverty and the lack of this and that and, oh, dementia is killing everybody and cancer and woe is the world. No, that's not where I want to live. So I'm going to step into my creative higher self and tap into this infinite wisdom we all have and build heaven right on earth. I'm going to float a fleet of life rafts that dementia care partners can hop on board, find some sanctuary, some comfort, some camaraderie, and a community spirit where all of us together, our energy is filled with synergy and it's exponential and we create good things. This is how we make things happen. And I maybe have a little different approach to the way a lot of people do things and the way much of the world runs. Nothing against any of that. I mean, I have nothing bad to say about Alzheimer's.org or any, the big names we hear. But they work from a trickle-down, condition-based paradigm. That's the story they run. They're really good at raising money for research. But in the meantime, we're here in the trenches living it every day. I mean, I spent a portion of time, I'll tell you what, I went through a period, I was thinking about the steps of grief. And it occurred to me after I read something another care partner wrote. And so it got me thinking about that. And I realized that at first, me, a trained medical professional, spent the first year after we learned of Gaetana's diagnosis in complete denial. It's like, no, that ain't it. Nope. And then, grief isn't linear. Then I went to a stage of what I call really weird bargaining. And it was very selfish. It was very unaware. And I forgive myself for that because, I didn't know. I was unaware. But I would say things like, God, if that was me, just shoot me. Just shoot me now. And I'm talking to my wife I'm talking about.
I said the same thing, Marcia.
A friend of mine took me aside one day and said, Marcia, it's not always about Marcia. And, ooh, that pissed me off. But I went home and thought about it, and you know what? She was absolutely right. And I had a shift. But the shift was not linear grief at all. Then both Gaetana and I, for about 2 years, we went into this weird place of acceptance where we just sat around waiting to die. And I'll tell you something. It was horrible. It's probably worse than dying because you're just living it. You're living death every day. And after 2 years of that, we were both so sick. I got pissed off. Then I jumped to anger. And I stormed down into the living room where Gaetana was sitting in her chair, and I said, I am pissed off about Alzheimer's, and I'm going to do something about it. I didn't know what, but there was a definite shift in the energy, in the air. There was a definite shift. And guess what?
I understand that, Marcia.
Yeah. So guess what happened after that? Things changed after that because I took action. This is what happens. This is how people live. Something happens, then we react or respond. It's kind of, we have old primitive brains that run on, God, I'm still running away from the tiger in the bushes, and that's not how it is today, So looking at the whole thing, I decided, look, you know what? There's no cure yet. Every time we get an answer, it brings up 10 more questions. And so it shifted the whole thing for me. My whole perspective shifted. It became, instead of about the dying, let's pay attention to the living energy. That's not to say ignore the body. The body was treated with respect and care, but Gaydon and I decided to focus on the loving energy instead, because guess what? Love is energy too, and it can't be created nor destroyed either. And so from denial to bargaining to acceptance to anger, back to acceptance, but on a whole new level. Gaydona and I ended up in the happy place, and there was no room saved for love. And to this day, there is no room saved for love. That's it. It's really pretty simple. Now, all of this that I'm talking about confuses a lot of people. It's very simple, but it's not easy. To change our thoughts takes practice. It takes doing repetitions. It takes every day waking up and saying, what can I do today to make this a better place, or to achieve the goal I want, or to put a happy on my day? What can I do today to make this day a nice day? What do I love? These are the things people need to start asking themselves. And if they start thinking about those things, their realities will change because their perceptions will change. And
Absolutely.
all of this is such a nice circle of stuff, because here I am connected with Elder Options, learning, that's how I first got to learn how to be a Tai Chi coach, and I love it. And so I get to work with them and have a say on how a $22 million budget is spent, and they're doing amazing things, Betsy. I was looking at their event calendar, and just this past month, in my county alone, which is just one part of Elder Options here, which covers, I think, 16 counties. It's the largest area that the state of Florida Department of Elder Affairs covers. It's just our little personal area. We call it Elder Options. It sounds much nicer than Mid-Florida Agency on Aging. So we're doing cool things. We have just in Levy County alone, where I live, we in February offering, well, it's almost March now, but we've offered over 9 different classes in Tai Chi and health and diabetes, and that's just one thing Elder Options does. Golly, they hold savvy caregiving classes. They do one-on-one coaching counseling for dementia care partners, for both the caregiver and the person, one-on-one. They do meals on wheels. They cook. If you don't know how to run the gauntlet of Medicare and Medicaid, they will take you through it. Now, realize, the baby boomers are here now. We're all the ones, getting dementia. They're busy.
Yes.
So, there's sometimes when you call the hotline, it might feel a little bit agency stuff, but I'm telling you what, the people that work at Elder Options, they are real, true heroes. They care. And this is what we're talking about. This is the paradigm. This is the new currency, the new economy. The new currency, the new energy is service. What can we do together that is going to make everything better? And it starts out in little groups. It's not this big trickle-down thing. It starts right inside of me first, and then my neighbor, and then my community, and then the community next to me, and we interweave this blanket, this tapestry of care. That's how we got to do it. That's how it's going to work.
Yes, that sounds very cool. We have, resources in our area, but a lot of people don't know about resources in their own backyard, Marcia, until they really need it.
I know. This is exactly why I had the vision of the Life Raft in the first place, because the idea of the Life Raft, what the Life Raft is really all about, is grassroots on the road kind of thing, where a few good mates, we get together and we decide we're hitting the road, and we research it all out first, say, okay, we're going to go to this particular town It's small. It doesn't have a lot of services. And we are first going to find out every service available. We're going to find names, doctors, chiropractors, different things, find out what the Agency on Aging is doing there, maybe have someone come speak. And we're going to introduce that to the neighborhood. And from that group of people who live there locally, the ones that are really sparked with interest, those are the ones that can build their own little life raft there in their community and start their own little community support centers. And it's not hard to do. It just takes people getting together and talking to each other and sharing their stories and having good ideas and deciding to have fun about it. And I realize that sounds a lot when you're sitting in the middle of dementia caregiving. I know it's not possible. But the people on the other side of it who've lost, their identities, these are things we can do. I mean, I know other people that are on the other side of caregiving, and they're not called to this, and that's great because this is how the world goes round. Diversity, baby.
Right.
This is a thing where a lot of people feel the way you and I do. It's like you and I both have been called to a mission. I made a promise on my wife's dying bed, and that's a solemn, sacred oath to me. And it's funny because I had this vision and I made this promise, and I really don't know how it's all going to work out. But guess what? That's how reality works. Anyway, that's how evolution works. Because if we already knew how it was going to work, we're tapping into our own constrictive paradigm that is always asking more questions and not ever hearing answers. We hear answers when we open ourselves up to being receptive. That's how we create things. That's how any successful person on this planet has ever done anything. It's how Edison had so many patents. It's how Tesla did what he did. It's how Napoleon Hill, wrote Think and Grow Rich. Stephen Hawking from a wheelchair, Superman,
right.
What was his name? These people. All of us come from incredible stories and circumstances and things we've gone through in our lives. And each one of those hardships, what we call hardships in our lives, are really golden nuggets of lessons. They become tools in our belt, our experience of life that we can share and take and put together with another piece, with somebody else who has a great idea. This is how creation happens. This is how evolution works. And this is how we build a support network for care partners from the inside out.
Yeah, so we don't have to have all the answers right away.
No, we don't. I started this thing. I said, okay, look, Betsy, here's the truth. I work on a farm. I don't work the way most people do. I get paid cash a lot. I make $15 an hour. And I don't even work 40 hours a week because I don't want it. But my bills are paid. I live a great life. That's about all I can afford to do at this level. So after this whole adventure I went through with my friend Heidi, who has kind of the same vision I do in the yoga studio and everything, I'm like, Marcia, you have so much potential. Potential is energy. Tap into it. And so I decided, I took this big leap of faith. I said, I'm betting on myself. I don't bet unless I know I'm going to win. And I'm refinancing my house to pay for my tuition. And I'm going to do this thing. It's time. The time is now.
Well, that's great, Marcia. I'm proud of you. I have to say that's talking about saying, what you want to do in the future. I think 2 days ago, a memory came up of me doing a video saying that I'm going to tell Matt's story some way, somehow. I'm going to tell the world Matt's story. That was in 2017. That's a year before I met Jeannie White, who's station manager of Passionate World Talk Radio.
What happened?
Yeah, and incredible. Yeah, and that was, I saw that video and I was like, wow, I spoke that into the universe. And
yeah, you did. You created it. We're all little co-creators. It doesn't mean we're running around being little narcissistic gods. necessarily, but we are co-creators just by our very being here.
Yes, and you said something interesting before that I want to say something about, Marcia, about money. And I had interviewed someone, money, and I've heard this before, I'm sure you have too, money is energy. It's nothing to be afraid of. Yeah, currency, yes. And so we should really, I know there's a saying, money's the root of all evil. I'm not talking about being, corrupt with money, but to have money to help other people, that's a wonderful thing.
Yes, it absolutely is.
I'm certainly not afraid of money. I'm thinking, come on.
Yeah, bring it, because I'm going to do good stuff with it. I really, you know what? People go, what do you want for your birthday or Christmas, Marcia? I'm like, some fresh vegetables, some batteries, there's really nothing that I really, like I'm not jonesing to go buy a jet. Maybe I'd like to buy a boat. I love being on the water, but I'm happy. It's not like I want to go buy a bunch of stuff. To me, listen, after Dementiaville, we've learned less is more.
Yes.
And so to me, it's not about the money per se, but here's the thing in our culture, and what we were pounded into our heads as children with a lot of the religions is that, be poor. To be greedy is evil. To be wealthy is, all those greedy, wealthy people taking advantage. And that's all resentment, and that's all that bad energy that doesn't feel good, and it's very constricted. Here's a suggestion I'm going to put out to people. Start paying attention to what you're thinking about. And then catch yourself. Be the observer. Notice what you're noticing. And if you start thinking a thought and it starts making you remember, something that felt bad or pissed off or made you, jealous or with life, feel that energy. Just take a pause. Take a breath in that moment. Deep inhale. Slow exhale through your mouth. And feel that energy. Is it constrictive? Then guess what? That's your ego talking, baby. That's fear. That's the crazy paradigm you made up in your head. It's not real. Now, when you feel things like love and gratitude and joy and sharing and hugs and laughter and happy times, stop a minute. Like whatever you were thinking about that made you feel that feeling. How does that energy feel? It's expansive, isn't it? Doesn't it open you up? Doesn't it kind of make your heart feel big and you feel more vibrant? Your energy raises a little bit. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we have to learn how to remember. We have to practice remembering how to be a child. And here's the reason why children are so good at this. Because from about 3 months before we're born till about the age of 7, we're these little energy packets put in these bodies that have brains. And we run on electromagnetism, and we have circuitry, and we're a computer. But we don't have any software downloaded into us yet. So what happens is we're these open sponges. We don't have any judgments or opinions about anything because we don't have anything to compare it to yet. We're just in it. We're absorbing everything. So if you're 3 months before you're going to be born in your mom's belly and you hear mom and dad fighting and yelling at each other and telling each other how worthless they are and how life is horrid, that's what's getting programmed. That's your software. And you're sucking it up. And we do this till about the age of 7. We suck up all of the stuff we get. And a lot of the programming we get as kids, a lot of it's scary stuff. A lot of it's, from hellfire, brimstone, where I live, and religion. And, all the fear stories and the crime and the addiction and everything that's wrong. And so that's what we learn to focus on, and that becomes our program. Well, here's the thing. After the age 7, our computer software is loaded. It's full. And we're running on this stuff, and we've been running it now for so long that it's like a background program running in our subconscious. And our subconscious is responsible for 95% of what we do and how we perceive the world. There's 5% of us that has a conscious brain that is actually thinking, oh, I'm going to pick up this pen and write a letter or whatever. 5%, that's all. Well, the brain has this other amazing thing in it called the reticular activating system, the RAS, and it's a thick bundle of nerves at the base of our brain, like right at the where the spinal cord connects up in there. There's this big bundle of nerves right there, and what it is a filter. Because could you imagine if we remembered consciously every single thing that happened to us every single second for me, 63 years, don't you think my brain would be a little full and I'd be confused and tired? So we have a filter. We have a filter. Now listen, this is really important. This filter, the reticular activating system, are filter stuff out so that we're only paying attention or focused on 40 bits of data at a time. It's all we're capable of focusing on so that we're not overloaded. But the fact is, our entire brain, our subconscious, is absorbing 40,000 bits of data. We just don't notice it because of the filter in our brain. So, because we do have a conscious brain that can make choices, we can decide what we want our brain to filter in, to allow in. It's like this, Betsy. Okay, a couple of years ago, after 3 times of losing a car every beginning of the year, I got sick of it. Something snapped there in me, too. And then, what comes to me? This retirement account I forgot about, and I was able to get a nice new car. And it's called a Chevy HHR. Stands for Heritage High Top. And it sort of looks like a PT Cruiser. And it's a rather unusual color. It's like a bright penny, like copper colored, kind of. Well, I'd never seen them around before, but after I got that car, I was seeing them everywhere. As a matter of fact, I went to my local grocery store right here in a town that only has 3 traffic lights, and an identical one parked right next to me. And so we notice things that we pay attention to the most. So if I'm spending every day thinking good thoughts, happy thoughts, things that are going to build me a really nice, happy future for everybody, if I'm spending my time thinking about that, guess what? I'm training my activating system in my brain to let that stuff get filtered in. And we rewire our brains. Literally, we rewire our brains by choosing our thoughts. And it's easy. It's not hard to do. It's not rocket science. It's just That's what I'm in the process of doing. Yes. Yeah, and so I'm all about energy work, and this is what my approach with Tai Chi and why I love Tai Chi is because it's actually a form of moving, dynamic, kinetic meditation. Because once you get the moves, and especially Qigong's it's easier than Tai Chi because it's like, here's one move and you do that a bunch. And then here's another move. Tai Chi is putting a bunch of different moves together so it flows. But once you get that, once your body memorizes it, you're not thinking about doing it, it's the best time in the world to play with your own energy. It's a way to meditate and have fun doing it. And these things I'm telling you about, waking up in the morning and before I get out of bed, I'm like, Marcia, what would you love today? What's on the menu today? Show me something cool. These are the things I'm programming into my brain. And guess what? As a result, my life is happy. I live in the happy place.
Yes, it makes a difference. It definitely does. I'm starting to do that myself, Marcia. Marcia, I can't believe how fast the time goes, but the time is almost up. Is there anything else you would wanted to share with the audience?
Well, I'm running. People that are connected to me on Facebook, you can check through my wall. I'm helping run a 7-day challenge about designing your best life. All this stuff I've been talking about. I'm working with a woman named Natalie Ledwell, who is the co-founder of a company called Mind Movies, which is actually what I've been doing for a decade. All the movies I make about dementia, they're kind of like mind movies. And they're ways of making visualization boards or ways of helping you fine-tune your own imagination so it becomes real easy to focus on what you love. So there's a challenge floating out there about that, and it's running 7 days, and a lot of cool, good information in there. Here in the next 2 to 3 weeks, you'll see a bunch of things on my wall and in the USS, the voyages of the USS Life Raft, about what I call the WTC. And the WTC is Williston Tai Chi. So I will be starting online classes on Zoom. I will be teaching locally. And if anybody's interested in taking some Tai Chi classes with me via Zoom, please feel free to reach out to me on Facebook in a personal message, and I'll get back to you. And the first 8 people that reach out to me, I'll even give a discount to the class, the class that I'm going to teach.
Oh, that's awesome. And they can reach you through your Facebook page.
That's the best way. I don't really I don't want to give my email out on the radio.
Right.
Get enough
that's fine.
spam as it is.
Yeah.
Facebook is really the best way to reach out to me. And then, of course, on a personal message, I can talk to people individually. And, then if they want, of course, then they can have my email. I could probably even have my phone number. But that's just not stuff I put out on my wall because my wall's public.
Right. I understand that. Okay. And also, what is the name of your channel on YouTube where you have your beautiful
YouTube,
videos?
Yeah. Well, my channel is just my name, Marcia Burr. But the playlist, see, I have a bunch of, you can have a channel on YouTube and then you can create all these different playlists. So I've been doing YouTube for like 20 years. So I have different playlists. The one that is got all the videos I've made about dementia care partnering is called Marcia's Dementiaville Highway.
I knew it had the word Dementiaville in it somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay. And folks,
one last thing. This is really important. One last thing. April Fool's Day, baby, right here in Florida. Skipper's Smokehouse, Tampa Bay. The Alzheimer's Music Fest is happening. Let's rock this thing. We're going to have a day of education before that. This is co-presented by the Dementia Spotlight Foundation. and the Alzheimer's Music Fest. The Music Fest is the fun vehicle, and the Dementia Spotlight Foundation is the workhorse behind all the fun that provides respite care and help to real people right here, right now. If you're interested in that, scroll through my wall too. You can donate. I put an article on my wall about where you could go donate if you want to, or how to get tickets. And I'll be posting stuff up until then. But that's April 1st, April Fool's Day. Yeah.
So it's April 1st, and where in Florida, Marcia? Is it
Tampa Bay? It's at
Tampa Bay. Okay.
Yeah, and it's at Skipper's Smokehouse. It's where we had it the first year. And that's an awesome place. It's outdoors, but it's covered. It's really cool painted walls. It's a great place, and I love it that it's outdoors. You know what, with COVID still kind of floating around, but I don't think we're going to have to worry about it because it's outside. And, there's a breeze in Florida. We stick out. We're a peninsula. We get ocean air.
Well, that sounds great. And, folks, check it out. If you live in the area, going to be in the area, I highly recommend going. You will love it. It's fascinating, and what they provide for people, respite care and medical supplies. It's a worthy cause to donate to. And
it's very worthy.
Yes. And
people have lived it. They've been through it. They know what it means to be a dementia care partner.
Yes. And the information will be in the log. I'll have to look that up so I can have the link be put in the log. So thank you, Marcia, for coming on Chatting with Betsy. Appreciate you, with everything that you do, and your words of wisdom and your thoughts. Folks, you need to go on Marcia's page just to look at her thoughts. She's a great writer and how she expresses herself. I wish I had that talent. And the videos. So thank you for coming on Chatting with Betsy and giving us an update on what you're doing and telling us about the Alzheimer's Music Fest. Folks, if you missed any of this podcast, you can catch it again. Chatting with Betsy is free to subscribe to. And I'm on, I'm on over 20 platforms, but just to name a couple, Spotify, Spreaker, CastBox, Amazon.com. And share this podcast with friends. This is my way of paying it forward and to help people. And this is what Marcia is about, and this is what I'm about. This is what Chatting with Betsy is about. It's about helping people, so please share the podcast. And I want to thank Jeannie White for producing the show and writing the blog. Please read the blog so it will have information. And I want to thank Lillian Caldwell, who's CEO of Passionate World Talk Radio, who gives people an opportunity to talk and a platform for people to tell their stories and share their stories. And thank you for listening, listeners, and thank you for supporting Chatting with Betsy by subscribing and sharing. I appreciate it because I want to reach as many people as possible. This is to provide resources to help people, and I want to thank everyone for that. And folks, in a world where you can be anything, please be kind. This is Betsy Wurzel, your host of Chatting with Betsy at Passionate World Talk Radio. Bye-bye now.
Are you looking for an internet talk radio station for your podcast? Look no further. At the helm of Passionate World Talk Radio are two women that want to provide a spot for you and your podcast to be heard. There are many other places for your podcast, but PWTR has the audience. You will not be disappointed. Our station has been on the internet for the past 16 years. Call us for more information. 484-364-1032 or text Jeannie White, station manager at PHECONNECTSHOW@gmail.com for podcast show details. Thank you for listening to Passionate World Talk Radio. You can listen to this program all over again by going over to https://passionateworldtalkradio.com. You can also hear it on Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Alexa, AMFM247.com every Tuesday evening between 8 and 9 p.m. YouTube, Facebook, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, and all the other podcast directories one can find on the Internet.